What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy Willie Does Wrestling, and welcome back to a brand new video. And peep up the new posters, peep up the new wall, painted the wall. Everything's all great. I am so excited that my walls are finally not looking like shit. And yeah, I'm doing face cam again. And ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while since we really done really opinion based videos, so I figured we'd come on here and do a little bit of a get to know me, you know what I mean? Um, I've found here a 20 questions little thing. Here are 20 questions for every wrestling fan. So basically, what we are going to do is we are going to answer these 20 questions, and I am going to tell you all my favorite this, my least favorite that, etc., etc., etc. I don't know how old this thing is, so I want to say this is more WWE based, and I think this might be like from like 2015 or something like that. So we'll just take this with a grain of salt and we'll just shoot the shit. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are new here, be sure to leave a like, be sure to subscribe, be sure to turn post notifications on so that way you never miss an upload. And ladies and gentlemen, let's just get right on into it. So the first question is, favorite current superstar? My favorite current superstar, if we're going WWE, I would easily have to say, I got a figure of him recently. The phenomenal, it won't be good. The phenomenal AJ Styles. AJ Styles was probably one of the first wrestlers that I was introduced to as a wrestling fan that wasn't really a John Cena or The Undertaker or a Hulk Hogan. Like wrestlers that every single like casual person would know. AJ Styles was in WWE at about the time when I started watching. I want to say it was like May 2016. And AJ Styles, watching him wrestle, I was absolutely in love with him. And I'm still one of the biggest AJ Styles supporters, AJ Styles fans. AEW, it's really hard to say. I'm going to go Jon Moxley. And I know Jon Moxley really isn't the internet wrestling community's favorite wrestler, but to be quite honest, I always enjoyed Jon Moxley's work. He's a sick, sadistic son of a bitch. I even enjoyed his work as Dean Ambrose in the WWE. But to see Jon Moxley give more of himself in his matches now and, you know, leading the BCC and everything like that, I can't root against Jon Moxley. Him or Bryan Danielson. I think those are my two favorite current wrestlers from AEW. My favorite superstar of all time easily has to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, why not? The guy was entertaining. The guy was decent in ring. He created a lot of amazing moments. A lot of his feuds are memorized as some of the greatest feuds of all time. And Stone Cold really knew how to give it his all in a performance, and I think that's why he is a WWE Hall of Famer. And I think Stone Cold will go down in history as one of, if not the greatest superstar of all time. Favorite current diva? Well, yeah, this is old, so we'll say current favorite women's competitor, and that I gotta say Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton has really given it her all. She's improved a hell of a lot in the ring. She's very entertaining. I know a lot of people really like to dig on her for a specific Instagram video that, or a specific Instagram story she made. But to be quite honest, Tiffany Stratton, I'm very impressed with her. She's the now currently the women's Money in the Bank winner, and I really hope that Tiffany Stratton can continue to do her best in her WWE career. WrestleMania or SummerSlam, and why? Well, I'd be stupid not to say WrestleMania. WrestleMania, the atmosphere, the matches, people giving it their all, the Super Bowl like feel of WrestleMania really makes any match on the card really feel important. And that's a lot where the most important matches of the year really take place, where the culmination of a lot of stories conclude. Sure, there's a lot of filler here or there. Sure, the pay-per-views could be a little bit long, but WrestleMania, I mean, you would be a fucking idiot not to say WrestleMania when you want to compare WrestleMania to any other pay-per-view premium live event. And that's nothing against SummerSlam. SummerSlam is very entertaining as well a lot of the time, but obviously if I were to choose between the two, I obviously have to say WrestleMania. A simple one, do you have the WWE network? Yes. I do. I live in Canada. Well, technically I have Sportsnet Plus, and it includes the WWE network in that. So I have the subscription of Sportsnet Plus that only has the WWE network, and I get to stream every single Raw as it's happening live, every single SmackDown, NXT. I don't get to stream every episode like in history, which I'm kind of mad at, but to watch every Raw live, to watch every pay-per-view live, and then go on to their library and watch every pay-per-view. And, you know, you still got the Bump, you got the fucking Broken Skull sessions, you got the WWE Rivals, you got everything, and I really like that about my version of the WWE Network. It's not as, you know, filled as the normal WWE Network, but to be quite honest, all I really need the WWE Network for is to watch Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and the premium live events as they're happening. So I'm not really that mad about that. Favorite title belt of all time has to be this version of the United States Championship that I have on my AJ Styles figure. That's the one John Cena held. I love this United States Championship belt. I don't know, man. Just the design as well and how prestigious that version of the belt was. The old United States Championship, it looked very appealing to me. I know a lot of people will probably say the Winged Eagle or the big gold belt, but to me, the old United States Championship belt will always be my favorite belt of all time, and especially what that old belt represented, and especially that reign by John Cena where he made that belt really feel important. I really got to say the old United States Championship is my favorite belt of all time. Favorite current title belt? The current WWE Tag Team Championships, the ones currently held by DIY. Not only for the nostalgia bait with the look of the classic World Tag Team Championships, or I guess they'd be the old WWE Tag Team Championships, but I just feel like it's a unique design and it looks visually appealing. When they got revealed back when A-Town Down Under were still champions, I was absolutely in love. And besides, we're currently in an era where a lot of the championship belts in WWE really look the same. So anything that looks even remotely different is a dub in this current era of the WWE. Least favorite superstar of all time. Holy shit, there's a lot of people that I could say is my least favorite superstar of all time. I don't like a lot of old wrestlers, but if I were to name one, it would probably be Goldberg. Goldberg was a botchamania video mashed into one. Goldberg was a jacked guy that everyone believed in. Sure, in WCW, he was booked like a beast, but in WWE, it was clear he could not have a match longer than 2 minutes. And it really showed. And then throughout his whole second run, when he was in his 50s, he was not good. His ability was not there. His ability was absolutely fucking atrocious. And I could not believe in Goldberg at all. And they treated him like a golden goose. And then he wanted to act like everybody hated him. You could go and watch my video ranting about Goldberg. And yeah, no. If I were to pick one off the top of my head, it would have to be Goldberg. Like Ryback, I don't like the person. But at least with Ryback, I enjoyed the wrestler when he was on TV. I liked Ryback back in the day when I was like a casual viewer, not watching every episode of Raw, every episode of SmackDown, but at least with Ryback, there was something I enjoyed. With Goldberg, I couldn't really say anything for that. You know what I mean? Least favorite current superstar, current wrestler. Least favorite? Oh. Like, it's I it's not the wrestler themselves. It's not the person. It's the way they're being booked. If I were to pick one, I'd have to say Mercedes Moné. I don't like the way that she's being shoehorned in everything. I don't like how she's been in AEW for a few months and she's already a dual champion. It was revealed that she now has a creative control clause, which I think is absolutely fucking stupid, and that you don't need creative control, and you shouldn't give wrestlers creative control in your matches. The fact that Mercedes Moné is treated like this golden goose and got handed everything, it's absolutely fucking stupid. And again, this isn't a dig on Mercedes Fernando, the person. But Mercedes Moné, the wrestler, the way she's being booked, I didn't even like Sasha Banks in the WWE. So a lot of you motherfuckers don't come at me saying that the only reason why I don't like Mercedes Moné is because she walked out of WWE and she's in AEW. That's not it, okay? I fucking hate the way that she's just booked to be the greatest at everything. So, off the top of my head, least favorite current superstar has got to be Mercedes Moné. Favorite WrestleMania moment? Well, you know, I could go, like, in the past to, like, WrestleManias that I didn't watch, but since this is a 20 questions about me, I'm going to say my favorite WrestleMania moment from, like, me watching. And I could go recency bias and say Cody Rhodes dethroning Roman Reigns to win the WWE Championship. That's probably in my top 3. But my favorite WrestleMania moment, and I'll never forget this, we went out to the theater to watch WrestleMania 33. And this was the pay-per-view where the Hardy Boys returned to the WWE. And I got shown clips of the Hardy Boys because these guys were absolutely fucked when it came to their matches and the things they would do. But I would say the Hardy Boys winning the Raw Tag Team Championships, coming back to WWE at WrestleMania 33 has got to be my favorite WrestleMania moment. And I know a lot of people would look at me with like a lot of confused looks on their faces being like, what? Why that? But to me, that's the one that sticks with me the most. And I know Cody dethroning Roman was an amazing moment. But to me, like the experience I had watching it, I have to say the Hardy Boys winning the Raw Tag Team titles was my favorite WrestleMania moment. Favorite era, it's got to be the 2016, the new era where Raw and SmackDown Live were basically having this rivalry and they were producing great TV every week. The Jericho storyline on Raw, the AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose rivalry on SmackDown, the new Wyatt family, the tag team divisions kind of meant something, not really, but at least they kind of meant something. And of course the women's evolution of where we have it now, that was back in 2016. And I absolutely loved that era, especially when the draft happened and the new eras of Raw and SmackDown Live. I have to say that 2016 era has to be my favorite in the WWE. Because, guys, I didn't grow up in the Attitude Era. I think if I was born probably 10 years sooner than I was, I would be like everybody, being like, the Attitude Era was my fucking favorite. Bra and panties matches. Fucking Stone Cold, Vince McMahon, The Rock, Kurt Angle. Oh my god, I loved it all. Triple H. Yeah, no. Favorite match of this year so far? My favorite match of this year actually has to go to Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson from AEW Dynasty. I love that match. Those guys absolutely killed it. The story aspect as well was alright. And as much as I like to shit on Will Ospreay for being Dave Meltzer's favorite wrestler and gets 5 stars every single time he competes in, Will Ospreay is a talented wrestler in his own right. Do I find him overrated by a specific dementia-ridden old man? Yes, but That's not saying Will Ospreay's not good. I'd be lying if I said Will Ospreay's not good. So, yeah, I gotta say, Bryan Danielson, Will Ospreay was my favorite match of this year. It really made me open my eyes to Will Ospreay because I wasn't really familiar with his work in New Japan. I knew he was regarded as one of the greatest wrestlers in the world, but yeah, no. I would have to say Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson is my favorite match this year. Favorite piece of merch you own, if any? Oh, that's my favorite piece of merch. Well, I my favorite piece of merch I own hasn't come in the mail yet. And I'm going to wear this in a video on that day that I get it because my brother for my birthday got me the fucking greatest fucking gift ever for my 21st birthday. It's a fan-made shirt of Bray Wyatt's moth, the moth logo, and then underneath it says "Thank you, Bray." That would probably be the greatest piece of wrestling merch I am going to own, is that Bray Wyatt shirt. And I cannot wait to wear that shirt around and people just be like, who the fuck's Bray? And, you know, yeah, because Bray Wyatt, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, hands down. Favorite faction of all time, it's got to be the Shield. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, the way that they were just absolutely fucking shit up on their first run. I wasn't the biggest fan of their constant reunions, but I love their feuds with the Wyatt family, the Evolution, messing up any baby face that they really get their hands on, any heel as well, and Legends. These guys looked like absolute dogs. They looked like behemoths, and that split is probably one of my favorite moments in wrestling history. And seeing how great those three guys have really gotten in the past decade plus. All three members of the Shield being three of the greatest wrestlers of this current generation is really great to see, and it really goes to show that anything can happen. A little faction with three guys that not a lot of people knew, wearing tactical vests, fucking people up, now are all three of the greatest wrestlers in this generation. I have to say the Shield for that. Do you like the current WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and why? Well, I think they're talking about like the one Brock Lesnar had where it was the big W logo, but fuck you, I'm doing the one that Damian Priest currently holds. And yeah, I don't mind it. I liked how it had the WWE logo, but they also kept a little bit from the big gold belt. The reigns, like Seth Rollins' reign was good in the start, got a little stale around the end. We know how Drew McIntyre's went. And a lot of people really want to debate how good or bad Damian Priest has been as a champion. But I'm actually kind of glad that Damian Priest actually got to be a world champion in the WWE. And hopefully, when Gunther inevitably wins it at SummerSlam, he can propel that World Heavyweight Championship to new heights and really make it prestigious like he did to the Intercontinental Championship. So, you know, I like the World Heavyweight Championship because it gives us a world title on Raw, and we desperately needed it at that point because it was when Roman was in the middle of his fucking huge run, and it was ruining everyone else on the card, more specifically on Raw, because both the WWE and the Universal Championships were on Roman Reigns, and Monday Night Raw had basically nothing, and we needed a full-time world champion. So yes, I like the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Do you think the Divas should have more titles? Well, the women have the Women's Championship, the World Championship, and the Tag Team titles on the main roster. So they have 3. But if you ask me, I think WWE needs to introduce a Women's Mid-Card Championship, a Women's Intercontinental Championship, a Women's United States Championship, or just a women's anything to really propel that mid card in that women's division. You have women like Dakota Kai, Zoe Stark, Raquel Rodriguez when she gets better, Michin, Mia Yim. You have all of these people, and I think you really need to propel that mid card in the WWE main roster, because a lot of those women are more talented, in my opinion, than a lot of the people being pushed nowadays. So yes, I think the women need to introduce a mid card championship, and I've been saying that for the longest time. I think the women should have a mid card championship. Favorite finisher? Oh God, what is my favorite finisher? Oh God, RKO. I'm gonna be a basic bitch. I'm gonna say an RKO. The fact that it could be connected out of nowhere, and the way Randy Orton like does any variation of it to make it all the more impressive. 20 years in his career, I gotta say my favorite finisher is the RKO. Favorite match stipulation? My favorite match stipulation would have to be fuck. I actually don't know. I thought I knew what my favorite Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble would have to be my favorite match stipulation. The amount of moments that specific match produced, the fact that anyone could really be in that match, and just the unpredictability of that match in certain years, and the moments it has created over the years really should give the Royal Rumble its flowers. Shout out to Pat Patterson for making that match. I absolutely love the Royal Rumble, so out of all the match stipulations, I gotta say the Royal Rumble. Favorite pay-per-view of all time? Holy shit, they saved the best for last. Well, it's not really last. Favorite pay-per-view of all time would have to be... Honestly, a lot of people really shit on this show. I know it's one I own. It has to be WrestleMania 35. There was a lot of great moments on that show. You had Kofi winning the WWE Championship. You had Seth having an amazing match with Brock, even though it was short in the beginning. You had a lot of funny moments, like with Miz and Shane. Women's main event, which, sure, while botchy, did have its moments. And I had very much fun, despite the show being very long, despite a lot of filler to get every title on the line and to get a lot of people on the card. But to be honest, I really liked WrestleMania 35. Fuck you. I know a lot of people would be like, what about fucking WrestleMania 17? What about WrestleMania 25? Well, I think actually a lot of people hate that show. What about WrestleMania 10? What about fucking blah 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 SummerSlam 2000? No. And bonus question, have you met any superstars and divas? I've only met a handful. I met the Undisputed Kingdom's Matt Taven at an indie show. I met Austin Aries, and I met Eric Rowan. It was my favorite one, was I got to meet Eric Redbeard, aka Eric Rowan. And hopefully I get to meet more wrestlers in the future. Hopefully I get to have interviews with wrestlers. I'm honestly planning on trying to interview somebody more prominent in the wrestling business, but I'm going to see what I can do about that. But yeah, only like 3. Matt Taven, Eric Rowan, and Austin Aries, and that doesn't include Vinny Da Vinci, who I got to interview on this channel. He's an amazing guy. He's on that indie promotion that I met all these wrestlers on. I also met Psychosis, ECW legend Psychosis, and that was a very fun experience. My mother actually really liked Psychosis as a kid, so she got to meet him as well, and it was an absolute great moment for her as well. But ladies and gentlemen, those are my 20 questions for every wrestling fan. Ladies and gentlemen, what are your answers to these questions? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are new here, be sure to leave a like, be sure to subscribe, be sure to turn post notifications on, so that way you never miss an upload. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been your boy, Willie Does Wrestling. I will see you in the next video. Be good, people, and peace. Later, later.